Hi, so for this tutorial you'll just need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, we won't be using that right now though, a 4.5mm hook and a couple of balls of contrasting colour in double knit wool. So to begin with we will be creating the centre of our flower. It's just a simple 4-petaled flower, and to start off with we need a nice ring for the circle, for the centre. To do that all you need to do is create a chain. I like to create a chain of 6, 5, 6, and then using a slip stitch you just want to join the end of the chain that you've done there to the beginning, so you've got a nice little loop. We want to make that loop a little bit nicer. So to do that all I'm going to do is do 12 double crochets. Now you'll notice that I'll actually be weaving in this end as I go around, and I'll be doing that throughout the piece. If you want any information on how to do that, there's loads of online tutorials either like this or written down. So here we go, that's the first one of our double crochets, and I'm working straight into this first ring that we did, and we'll be doing 12 in total. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, towards the end there it was getting a little bit tight, so you can just sort of pull your stitches around a little bit to make it a little bit neater. To finish off, what I'm going to do is slip stitch into the first double crochet that I did. So I'm going to count background to make sure I'm going to the right part of the stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's this one here. Okay, and I'm just going to do a simple slip stitch. And to finish that, I'm just going to cut the wool and pull through. Give a little tug on both ends just to sort of neaten it up and pull it together a little bit. And you can see we've got a really nice, neat centre circle. Eventually we're going to be making this into a pillowcase, and I'll show you the finished result at the end of the tutorial. Okay, so all I'm going to do is start off by inserting a crochet hook into the same stitch that we slip stitched into with this end of the wool. Okay, and all I'm going to do, ignoring this to begin with, is do a chain of 8. So I'm going to start off here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's your 8. I'm going to come back down into the same stitch we started on the centre and do a slip stitch. Now comes the fun bit. You want to rotate your work clockwise. Okay, so we're actually going to be working the opposite way to how we would have started off, if you see what I mean. And all you want to be doing is inserting your hook into this stitch here, the stitch before the slip stitch on your initial centre. We're going to hook your yarn, pull it through as if it was just a normal slip stitch. Okie doke. Now what we're going to do is, whilst we'll weave these in as we go as well, but we're going to be working into this first petal shape. So all I'm going to do, to make it easier, I like to twist your what will be invisible ends eventually together, just so they're easier to handle. And I'm going to be doing 4 double crochets, 4 triples, 1 double triple at the top, 4 triples down the other side of the petal, and 4 double crochets to end up, and then I'll show you how to end that first petal. So it's going to be 4 double crochets, 4 triples, 1 double triple, 4 triples, and 4 double crochets. So let me do that for you. That's your first single crochet, sorry, double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, get these ends out of the way. You can see I'm just weaving them in, I'm just working them in as I go. And then I'm not doing any chain stitch to compensate for the higher stitch I'm moving into. You don't have to worry about that. Okie dokie, so we're going to go a treble, another treble, that's 2 of the trebles, 3, 4. So you've worked up one side of this petal. For the very, very top, we're going to do a double treble, so wrap around twice. Sorry, come underneath and work that stitch as normal. Pull through, pull through, pull through. Okay, and that's the very tip of that petal. Now we're going to work down the left-hand side. Here we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles, and then we're going to do the 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now because I've been weaving in as I go, I'm going to snip these 2 ends, which are the ends we're not working with. I'm going to snip those off, they'll be nice and secure in all of those stitches, so that's good. And we won't need the scissors again for a little while. Okie doke, so that's your first petal. Now, we will actually be coming around again and doing another layer of just double crochets in a moment, which will neaten up even more, make it slightly bigger. But eventually what you want is for the centre of your petal to be a long straight line. It's not going to be round, it's going to be a nice slit like that. Okay, and the end here, this stitch at the very, very end, which is your double treble, that'll actually become the tip. It'll be quite a nice point by the time we've finished. Okie doke, so I'm going to work the rest of the first layer of the petals. To do that, I want to finish this first petal. I go through the centre of the petal, hook the yarn, bring it through, and to anchor it to this centre piece, I'm just going to again push my hook through the next stitch along on the centre, pull the yarn through, and you'll notice I've got 3 loops there on my hook, and then pull through. Okie doke, so that's nice and anchored. The next stitch I'm going to do is 2 slip stitches. 1, 2, and this second slip stitch is going to be the centre of your next petal. Okay, so we start as we did the other one, so we're going to do 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lovely, and we're going to go into the same stitch that we started the chains from and just slip stitch that in place. We're then going to rotate the work around, and we're going to work and anchor this next layer of stitches here. Oops. So it's the previous slip stitch. And we're just going to pull straight through. Woohoo! Give it a wiggle. There we go. Again, we're going to work on this petal as we did the previous one. So it's 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4. The very to very tip, we're going to do a double treble, so that's just the one. And then work in reverse, so it's 4 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just jiggle your stitches along if they're not quite in the right place or if they're getting in your way. Okie doke. So to anchor it back to the centre, we'll do it as before. Hook goes through, catch the yarn, bring it back, anchor, by placing in the next stitch along, pulling through, there we go, all 3 loops, lovely, and then 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, and the second slip stitch again is going to be the centre of your next petal, so let's start again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll do this up to speed now if you still haven't caught exactly how it all works, and you can always go back on the last couple of petals. And then I'm just going to do 1 slip stitch to finish off. Okie doke, so here you go. That's the first round on all your petals. Like I say, eventually, once you join together and then block your work, the centre of each of the petals will actually turn into a long thin slit rather than a circle like the centre should be. Okay, so the next round, what do we do? So the first petal is slightly different to the rest because we're starting where I would ordinarily be doing, right in the middle of where I'd ordinarily be doing a dramatic decrease. So all I'm going to do is decrease 1 like so. So this is the first stitch of your petal. Okay, you've got 2 loops on your hook. You're going to go through the second stitch on your petal, hook the yarn, bring it through, hook the yarn again and bring it through all 3 stitches. Okay, and then you work just 1 double crochet into each of the stitches until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 6 remaining stitches up that side, and then the very, very top, which was your double treble, you're actually going to do 3 double crochets into it. So 1, 2, 3. And the second double crochet of the 3 you've just done into that top stitch will be the stitch that you use to join the tips of each of the petals when you're making a larger piece, if you're making a larger piece. Okie doke. So, and then we're going to do down the other side, 6 stitches, 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to decrease quite dramatically as follows. Right, okay, so hook your yarn, bring it through, go into the next, which is actually the last stitch, ignoring your anchor stitch, that's the last stitch from the previous round. Okay, pulling through. You've got 3 loops on your crochet hook. Then take your work and turn it so you're working into the first, the first hook, bring it back, and the second stitch, hook your yarn, bring it back. You'll now actually have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your crochet hook. Hook the yarn again and pull it through all 5 stitches. Now I didn't do a very good job of that. I let go of that yarn before I pulled it through the final stitch, but there we go. Now what we're going to do now is give it a bit of a jiggle just to put it nice and taut, and you can see it's pulled the base of the stitches really nice and close together in a really neat way, which is good. So let's continue to the next one, show you again. So we're going to go 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 double crochets in the very, very top stitch, 1, 2, 3, 6 down the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then this again is going to be your dramatic decrease. So here we go. We've got, hook your yarn through the 7th stitch down that side, and the 8th, which is the final stitch, ignoring your anchor stitch. And then up the next petal, the 1st stitch, you're going to hook, and the 2nd stitch. There we go, you've got your 5 loops, and then you're going to pull all the way through. And you're going to continue working right the way around this 3rd and 4th petal. This is the last side of the last petal. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to finish off, the finish off is different to the other gaps between the other petals. We do it just like this. So first step is the same. You hook and pull through the yarn of stitches 7 and 8 of that petal, and then just the first one of the next. You'll have 4 loops, hook your yarn and pull through the 4, give it a jiggle, and then just slip stitch to finish into the very next stitch. And that would be on the first petal that we did this second round on. You're going to be cutting your yarn, pulling through to finish. Now, you'll need to weave that in. That's the only end that you'll need to weave in using your yarn needle. I won't do this here, but I'll just reshape it slightly. Obviously, all of these will benefit really nicely from blocking. And again, there are plenty of tutorials online about blocking, some of which I shall be revisiting to do this project. And that's your finished flower. And as if by magic, here are a few that I made earlier. I've got a couple of ends left to weave in, and seriously needs to be shaped using some blocking, but apart from that, that is pretty much the finished cushion cover. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on a nice contrasting colour to really make these flowers stand out. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.